Welcome to the Mount Pleasant Podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people of Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor, the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. So when you think of December, you think about traditions in the Lowcountry, right? And one thing that's everyone's tradition is making the trek to James Island County Park, the Holiday Festival of Lights, a big part of the Charleston County Parks and Recreation Department. But really, it's not the biggest thing, or perhaps there's just so much else that you don't realize that we're going to talk with you about today on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. I'm Brian Cleary. Today I'm joined by Sarah Reynolds, and Sarah is the Public Information Coordinator with the Charleston County Parks and Recreation Commission. Sarah, first of all, thanks for taking the time. It's a busy time of year for you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. We love to come on to talk about events and parks anytime.
Well, let's be honest right up front. How many times have you yourself driven through the Holiday Festival of Lights this year?
Oh, this year, probably about 8 or 10 times this year, which actually is not as much compared to other years. I thought you were going to say altogether throughout my career. It's been
well, we can go with that as well. Why not? Give us a big number, because I think it's more than once or twice anyway.
I mean, it's probably 150 times.
As someone who has had that experience that many times, but you really, obviously in your position and stuff, you're all a part of the Holiday Festival of Lights. What is it that you think that makes it so special for us here in the Lowcountry?
The Holiday Festival of Lights, you kind of hinted about this, but it's such a tradition for many people, for many families have come here for years and years. We're in our 33rd year at the Festival of Lights. So, this is going through multiple generations now. So I think a lot of people who maybe went as a kid growing up here in Charleston are now bringing their kids or possibly even their grandchildren. So, it's really spanning the generations, and it's a tradition for a lot of different families and different people. And one of the things that makes this event so unique that a lot of people don't realize compared to other similar light shows is the Holiday Festival of Lights. Almost all of the light displays that are at the festival were created in-house by our staff. So they weren't, purchased, or someone else didn't make them for us. They were actually hand built by our really talented welders and electrician staff that we have at James Island County Park. So, and because of that, we have such unique light displays out there, like the Ravenel Bridge and the Pineapple Fountain, and a lot of those really different light displays that you see.
No, it is very cool to drive through. I've been through this year, and for somebody who hasn't driven, I can't believe there's someone out there who hasn't been to the Holiday Festival of Lights. But Sarah, share, because yes, you drive around and you see the lights, but there's also some really fun, family-friendly activities going on as part and comes along with your admission ticket. Absolutely.
So yeah, you can drive through the 3-mile drive. It features over 700 light displays and an estimated 2 million lights is what we say, but it's probably way more than that, honestly. So that's just the beginning of the festival, and you can go through the driving loop as many times as you want. But what we really want to make sure people do, and a lot of people still don't realize that this is an option, is you can park your car. There are 3 designated parking lots, and get out and explore different areas of the park that you can't see from your vehicle. And there are activities, and we have the festival train, and just a lot of other great things on site. So there's 2 areas, Santa's Village, which obviously that's where Santa is. He'll be there through December 23rd. He's there every night. And also in Santa's Village, there is marshmallow roasting. There are some food options if you want to grab dinner or a snack. That's where our festival carousel is, and the climbing wall, and other light displays that you're not going to see from the car. There's a dancing light display on site in Santa's Village. And then you can take a walk over to Winter Wonderland. There's like a lighted pathway between the 2 areas. Winter Wonderland is where our gift shops are, and that's where the festival train is, which the festival train is, I highly recommend anyone do it if you haven't done it before. You get to drive around the lake and see those light displays at a closer angle. And you see other light displays, again, that you're not going to see from your vehicle. So, and it's just really fun. I took my kids for the second time this year on the festival train, and it's their favorite part of the whole experience of the Festival of Lights. So there's really a lot more to see and do than just driving through the lights, which so I highly recommend everybody when they come park your car, get out, walk around, see some other stuff while you're there.
Take advantage of this. The Holiday Festival of Lights at James Island County Park. It's open nightly right through New Year's Eve. It's great. It's amazing. But there's so much more to the Charleston County Parks and Rec Commission than just the Holiday Festival of Lights. So, Sarah, let's explore that a little more today on the Mount Pleasant podcast. When you're east of the Cooper, there are a number of different parks that the Parks and Recreation Commission operates and runs and has so many events at. Tell us about those parks.
In the East Cooper area, there are essentially 4 parks. There's Isle of Palms County Park, which most people are familiar with. It's a beach park. But 3 of the parks I really wanted to talk about today in the East Cooper area are the 3 Mount Pleasant area parks. That is the Mount Pleasant Pier, which is actually owned by the town of Mount Pleasant, but we operate the actual pier. It's adjacent to the Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park. Palmetto Islands County Park, which is located off Long Point Road, and then Laurel Hill County Park, which is a relatively new site for us, and that is located near the Park West Recreation Complex. So I can just dive right in if that's okay.
Absolutely. Let's start there because I think, people are familiar with the Isle of Palms. They go to the beach, they park there. Whether you're going for Splash Island or whatever, okay, Palmetto. But yeah, Laurel Hill, wow. It's there. People don't know as much about it. So tell us about some of the amenities, some of the great stuff that is there.
So Laurel Hill County Park is really a nature-oriented park. It's we call it like a passive park is kind of the terminology we use for it. So there's really not a lot of amenities out there, but what it is it's over 700 acres of property. It used to be a privately owned piece of property. It's called Laurel Hill. I think that was tied into the original name of the property out there. But basically there are miles of trails out there, and it's located very centrally in North Mount Pleasant, and you would have no idea just driving through the hustle and bustle of North Mount Pleasant that this is located back there. And it's really a hidden gem, I like to call it, because when you get back there, it's so quiet and so serene, and you're walking amongst all these pine trees and palmetto trees, and these beautiful views out there. There is an oak alley near where the house used to stand on the property. There is a pond out there. You can go fishing on the pond. And it's just miles and miles of trails through this beautiful scenery, all kinds of foliage and, palmetto trees and pine trees and just beautiful scenes out there. It's a great place to just get away, go for a walk, bring your bike, bring the dog. And we also have like races out there. Like we have an off-road duathlon coming up, which is a run bike run event coming up January 14th. And we have other races out there as well. We have a Chili 5K in November. So it's a really great spot to come walk or run.
And I can really attest to that personally, because if you go over to the Mount Pleasant park where all the fields are and stuff, and the Mount Pleasant track is out there, I used to run at the track, and then I kind of discovered Laurel Hill there, and you've got a couple of different loops, and they're all mapped out pretty well. And whether it's running or biking, this is really, and you say serene and out of the way, you could really lose yourself out there because it's just such a beautiful place, but you're isolated. If you want to be alone, that's a great place to go. You
would have no idea once you get out there. You just don't feel like you're in Mount Pleasant anymore. Yes. You feel like you're somewhere else. Yeah, exactly what you said. It's absolutely beautiful. It's funny. A couple of years ago on Mother's Day, I remember the only thing I wanted to do, I just kind of wanted to get away and have some peace and quiet. And I was like, I just want to go to Laurel Hill County Park and go for a walk. And that's what I did. And I just went out there for a walk by myself. And it was it's such a peaceful, quiet, just relaxing experience. It's a great place to just get away and, or get some exercise, take some time to think.
Everyone's talking about real estate. The conversation continues with Voice for Real Estate podcast. Listen and learn from the experts who call the Carolinas home. Podcast advertising gives your business a voice of authority. Be heard. Advertise on this podcast. Visit voiceforrealestate.com.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant podcast.
That's a wonderful gift from your family on Mother's Day, leaving you alone. My mom always loved that. That was her favorite.
Well, I mean, I spent time with my kids the same day, but I was like, I just want to have a little bit of peace and quiet, get away, enjoy some nature for a few minutes.
Sometimes moms deserve that. We're talking with Sarah Reynolds today here on Mount Pleasant Podcast. This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. I'm Brian Cleary, and Sarah is with the Charleston County Parks and Recreation Commission. And we're talking about the parks east of the Cooper. Laurel Hill is one. Let's move to Palmetto County Park and tell us a little bit about that. And let's start with this. Admission to the park, Holy heck, you're breaking my bank. Actually not. The admission is so reasonable.
It really is. It's $2 per person. And if you get our Gold Pass, which is around $80 a year, that gets your entire vehicle into all of our parks for a full year. So that's another option as well. But yeah, $2 per person, very reasonable. And there's really something for everyone at that park. As I mentioned, it's off Long Point Road. A lot of people don't even realize it's back there. It's kind of behind the Long Point neighborhood. But there's a giant playground out there called the Big Toy, which has playground amenities for young and old children, older and younger children. There's a 50-foot tall observation tower, which is absolutely gorgeous. You climb up to the top of it and you can see all around the park. You can see all the marshes. It's surrounded by creeks and marshes. The whole park is, which is why it's called Palmetto Islands, because it's essentially linked to some islands that are covered in palmetto trees. So Palmetto Islands is kind of the namesake. But yeah, you can go up to the top of the 50-foot observation tower, see the whole area. And then there's miles of trails where you can go walking, paved trails as well as unpaved trails that go onto some of the islands out there that are, it's a little more rustic in those areas. But it's, again, just like Laurel Hill County Park, very beautiful. A lot of places where it's very quiet and you can, connect with nature.
And Sarah, you said two magic words, Gold Pass, because I don't think people always understand, and particularly even as we segue to talk about Isle of Palms County Park, if you go to the beach with your Gold Pass, you could park for free. That's part of being a Gold Pass. Almost right there, it pays for itself, but the Gold Pass can pay for itself in so many ways. Talk a little bit more about what that gets you.
Yeah, so the Gold Pass, as I mentioned, it's about $80 a year for basically your entire family. It covers everyone in your vehicle coming into the county parks. And you get into almost all of the county parks. It doesn't include the water parks, but you get into Palmetto Islands County Park, like I mentioned, James Island County Park. You get 4 passes each time to McLeod Plantation Historic Site. If you want to go there, it covers basically all of our parks. So it's a great value. And as you said, it gets you into the beach parks as well. Isle of Palms County Park, Folly Beach County Park, and Beachwalker Park on Kiowa, which you get parking. There's restrooms right there. So it's a great place to go park and go to the beach as well. And it definitely pays for itself after a few visits to the beach parks. And you get to pass the Festival of Lights with the Gold Pass. So I can't say enough good things about it. It's definitely worth the minor investment. Recommend it for anyone who wants to go to the county parks and have a good time.
This is something that truly, truly, truly pays for itself. It is such something, it's almost stealing, but this is one time where you go, hey, take advantage of this great opportunity because you could use it at so many different areas. And then we move up the river, the Mount Pleasant Pier. It's such a wonderful pier. So many fun events you have at that. Dancing on the Cooper, just one of them. Talk a little bit more about what people can experience at the Mount Pleasant Pier.
Yeah, so the Mount Pleasant Pier, just in case you're not familiar with it, some people don't realize it's there. It's right at the base of the Ravenel Bridge. It's connected to the Mount Pleasant Memorial Waterfront Park. It's a 1,250-foot long pier. It's a concrete pier, and it's a great spot for fishing. Probably the most popular activity that takes place out there. But it's also a really good spot to go and just go for a walk, just enjoy the views out there of Charleston Harbor. It's right under the bridge. You see lots of boats going by. It's a gorgeous spot to go out there. You can bring the family, go for a walk. And then there's also a cafe out there. It's called the Riverwatch Cafe and a gift shop. They have sandwiches and handmade milkshakes and smoothies, so you can grab something to eat while you're out there as well. And there are seating areas outside where you can enjoy your food there. And yeah, like you mentioned, there are a lot of really great special events that take place at the Mount Pleasant Pier. Dancing on the Cooper is a really popular one with live music. It's right at the very end of the pier, so it seems like you're almost dancing on the water all the way out there. We have live bands that actually vary from like beach music bands to like rock or country bands that perform at the end of the pier, and you can go out there and dance, and we sell beverages at the foot of the pier for those events. We also have Starlight Yoga series that takes place on select evenings out at the Mount Pleasant Pier. That's a really popular one as well. It's a flowing yoga class, and people go out there and, it's usually around sunset time frame in the evening in like the spring and summer and fall, and just a gorgeous spot to practice some yoga under guidance of a yoga instructor. And then there's a Cheers on the Pier event as well that takes place that features live music and beverages.
Have you yourself, are you a yoga person at all? I know the downward dog, and that's about it.
I've only dabbled in it a little bit, but I know it's really good. It's a good spot to get out and practice yoga because, in the sunset and the environment's very conducive to the relaxation and everything that goes along with it.
So everybody who lives in Mount Pleasant knows it's a growing area. So many things are popping up. In terms of the Charleston County Parks and Rec Commission, there are some future growth possibilities, correct? East of the Cooper with maybe some new parks?
That's correct. So the Rifle Range property, we are working with the town of Mount Pleasant on that. And there's still a lot of question marks with that property, but that's something definitely to keep an eye on in the future. We also have a property in Ondaw, McClellanville area that at one point, it's still years in the future, will hopefully be developed and become a park property. We have a number of properties throughout Charleston County that we purchased that, we're essentially waiting to master plan and develop at one day down the road. So hopefully we'll have some things opening up in the years to come.
Thanks so much for taking the time to join us here on the Mount Pleasant podcast, where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. I'm Brian Cleary, joined today by the Public Information Coordinator for the Charleston County Parks and Recreation Commission. Our guest is Sarah Reynolds. Sarah, one of the things that people are curious about in terms of the Charleston County Parks and Recreation Department, we've been talking about things east of the Cooper. The Folly Beach Pier has been a project that's underway. What can you update us on that?
So the Folly Beach Pier, in case you don't know, it's been under construction since I think it was October of 2020. We basically had a contractor come in and take down the entire Folly Pier, and it was made out of wood, and it was essentially just reaching the end of its useful life. And we've reconstructed the Folly Pier, and now it's very close to being finished. So it was projected for a spring 2023 opening. Might be sooner than that. So we'll probably be coming out with some information about that in a little bit. So definitely stay tuned to our website and, keep an eye out on what might be happening. But yeah, essentially we're going to be reopening the Folly Pier. It has going to have a concrete substructure now. So the pilings that used to be wooden pilings are now going to be concrete. And the top of it is wooden, made out of wooden boards and wooden railings and all that. So it's going to have a much longer life than the previous Folly Pier, which was open for about 25 years, I think, before it was really deteriorating. So we're really excited to have this new Folly Pier opening that's going to last for probably, I think they're saying around 70 plus years. So it's going to last a lot longer. We're really excited to have that open. We do have a portion of the pier open right now. The apron is what we call it. It's where the restaurant is and the gift shop and the restroom. So you can go up and kind of keep an eye on the progress there if you're interested. But yeah, hopefully pretty soon we're going to be opening the remainder of the Folly Pier, the walkway, so you can go out and walk and fish and enjoy all that. So definitely stay tuned.
I know because of future growth, it's hard to put a number on it, and you've got some projects going on. But so people get the scope of what the Charleston County parks are all about. What's the number that you officially say we have this many parks right now?
It really depends on exactly what you're talking about. Sure. As far as like parks, because there's so many different definitions of that, because some people consider, like our water parks to be a separate park and that sort of thing. We say around 15 parks. That's about how many parks you get into with the Gold Pass. But, as I mentioned, we have these properties that we're also waiting to develop in the future. So we have around 15 parks. And if you haven't been to more than, a couple of county parks, I would definitely go to our website, check out the whole list. There are properties throughout Charleston County that are just amazing to go see. And it's really fun to go to other areas, like Hawkaw Interpretive Center is a great example. It's pretty far out in Ravenel, but if you're going to be going out that way sometime, it's so worth the drive to go out there, see that property. They're all over Charleston County. We really have something in every area. So definitely check out our website to see our full list.
And you mentioned the water parks. That's a really popular place. Of course, Splash Island at the Palmetto Island County Parks, but there's 3 water parks in all. Talk about them a little bit. And do we expect anything new in 2023 at the water parks? I'm not sure if we expect anything new in 2023 at the water parks. I know, obviously, I know last year, a lot of people are probably aware, we had, there was a national lifeguard shortage. So when that impacted our hours at the water parks last year, but we're really hopeful we're going to be getting on like a normal, back to our old schedule of being open every day at the water parks this year. But yeah, there are 3 water parks in the Charleston area.
one in Mount Pleasant, which is Splash Island, located within Palmetto Islands County Park. That's actually the smallest of our 3 water parks. It's great for little kids. There's a couple slides out there. It's extremely reasonably priced. And then we also have a Splash Zone, which is in James Island County Park. It's kind of our mid-sized water park. There's a lazy river and a pool and some slides out there as well. And then Whirlin' Waters Adventure Water Park is in North Charleston, and that is a huge water park. It has a little bit of everything. There's a large kiddie pool area all the way up to some very thrilling water rides that just opened a couple years ago, there's 2 slides. It's called the Washout. So there's and everything in between. There's a big wave pool and other tube slides and mat racer slides, and that's all at Whirlin' Waters Adventure Water Park. So really something for everyone in every price bracket as well, I feel, too, depending on what you want to do.
In the Charleston County Parks, we talk about it being about family, and that includes your furry four-legged friends. I know one of the great things that people really love about the Palmetto Island County Park is the dog park that's there.
Yes, our dog park at Palmetto Islands County Park is extremely popular. There's a large dog park area, and that's essentially a larger park, but it's intended for larger sized dogs. And then there's a smaller dog park area as well. So if you have a smaller dog, you maybe don't want it mixing in with the larger dogs, you can just have your dog go in that dog park area. But yeah, it's a great spot to come, let them run around and socialize. I go to Palmetto Islands County Park very frequently. There's always someone in the dog park. So if you want to come get your dog socialized, maybe meet other dog owners, that's a great spot to go and let your dog just run around and have a good time and enjoy meeting other dogs.
And really, at the end of the day, if somebody doesn't take away anything from this interview, but one thing, let me leave them with this. You and I have talked about the value of the Gold Pass. It's Christmas time, maybe a Christmas gift. If somebody's interested in getting a Gold Pass, Sarah, what do they need to do?
You can just go to charlestoncountyparks.com. You can purchase one online, or you can call our call center if you want to figure out a way to gift it to somebody or something. But yeah, go to charlestoncountyparks.com, click on the link that says passes. All the information about it is in there. It definitely does make a great gift. I've gifted it to people myself several times. Everybody loves it. It's even a great gift for like a whole family, because essentially it's going to get, it's kids, dogs, like you said, everyone into our parks for a full year. So it's a really great value.
And let me circle back around to where we started the interview. You are with the Parks and Recreation Commission. Give me the inside scoop. We're getting close to the end to Christmas. The holidays are here. Give me the end. What should I be doing so that I can enjoy the holiday festival of lights? Do I go on an off day? Do I go early? Do I go late? Give me the tip that I need so I can enjoy it the best.
That's a great question. And this time of year is very busy. I know the last couple weekends have been very busy at the Holiday Festival of Lights. What I would recommend doing, if you want to go to the Festival of Lights, first of all, we have certain days that are designated as peak days and regular days at the Festival of Lights. This is new. This is something we started last year. There's a calendar on our website that shows you which days which. But essentially, our regular days are going to be the less busy days based on previous attendance, like historically. So I definitely recommend checking out that calendar, going on one of those days. In addition to it being less busy on those days, you save basically $10 per vehicle if you go on a regular day versus the peak day. So definitely look at our calendar, and if you can, plan your schedule around that. Even if you can't go on a regular day, definitely buy your tickets in advance online. $5 off if you buy your tickets in advance online for your vehicle. And then I do recommend getting there early. So the festival opens at 5:30, and they usually, kind of an insider tip, they usually let people in a little early before 5:30. So if you can get there around like 5, there's usually a line starting to back up, especially on the busy nights. Go ahead and get in line, and then they'll probably let you in a little early. You can get in and get parked and go see Santa or whatever you want to do. So definitely get there early, and you can get your train tickets early or whatever you want to do. Get that out of the way, and then you won't have to be waiting in line.
There we go. We go to the experts here for the information you need on the Mount Pleasant podcast. Again, east of the Cooper, we've got Laurel Hill Park. We've got Palmetto Islands County Park, the Mount Pleasant Pier, the Isle of Palms County Park. It's just a small part of what the Charleston County Parks and Recreation Commission gives us throughout the entire county. Sarah Reynolds, thanks so much for taking the time to join us and giving us that inside info.
Thank you so much for having me. This was very fun. I had a great time.
This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive, and we're happy to have you join us each and every time we put a new one up. This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm Brian Cleary for Sarah Reynolds. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant Podcast, your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.